Ever heard of sounds that can heal your mind or even your body? There's a set of tones called solfeggio frequencies that some people believe can do just that, help with relaxation, emotional release and more. But are they real or just hype? Let's quickly go over the facts and I'll show you exactly how to set them up in Logic Pro, whether you're into the science or just love experimenting with sound. Solfeggio frequencies are certain sounds that some people think can help with healing. However, there isn't strong scientific proof to back up these ideas. Although sound therapy in general can help lower stress and support relaxation, there's no clear evidence that these specific frequencies have unique effects. Most of the claims come from individual experiences, not from scientific testing, and these individual experiences could be affected by the placebo effect. The placebo effect is a good enough reason for me to try it though, and I'm not here to debate what's real and what's not. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at what these frequencies are supposed to do. Here's a list of the most popular ones and what people believe they help with. 528 Hz is said to help with healing and love. 396 Hz is believed to help release fear. 417 Hz is said to help with change and new beginnings. Now let's get into how you can have solfeggio frequencies in Logic Pro. First of all, create a new software instrument track with your choice of melodic instrument. I have chosen Tibetan singing bowls. To use the same as me, go to App Presets, then 10 World, then 2 Asian, and then Tibetan singing bowls. Now let's make sure we are working with the same octaves as each other in Logic Pro. Go to Logic Pro in the top toolbar, then to Settings, then View, and set Display Middle C as C4 Roland. Next go to File, Project Settings, Tuning. Here you want to change the software instrument pitch from 440 Hz to 415.3 Hz. Ordinarily, using the sliding scale, you can only move 100 cents either way, so to the next semitone. However, the software instrument pitch and the software instrument tuning table can be used in conjunction with each other. After changing the software instrument pitch to 415.3 Hz, so minus 100 cents, select User on the software instrument tuning table, then change to the following. Note you needn't bother altering C, F or D sharp, as we will not be using those notes as I couldn't get them close enough to one of the solfeggio frequencies. In the C sharp box, change this from 0 to 15.661 cents. This will make C sharp in the 5th octave 528 Hz. Then repeat for the following. E to 48.170 cents. This will be our 285 Hz on D4. E to 45.994 cents, which will be 639 Hz on E5. F sharp to minus 6.080 cents, which will be 174 Hz on F sharp 3. G to 2.384 cents, which will be 741 Hz on G5. G sharp to 17.616 cents, which will be 396 Hz on G sharp 4. A to 7.072 cents, which will be 417 Hz on A4. A sharp to minus 55.961 cents, which will be 852 Hz on A sharp 5. And finally, B to 56.058 cents, which will be 963 Hz on B5. Note how the notes appear to all be in a random order in terms of the note names, frequencies and octaves. There is a way to change this so you can play all the white notes from C4 to D5 in ascending frequency order, but it involves using Logic's environment. You can change the notes to make them easier to play in ascending frequency order by using a mapped instrument in Logic's environment. Press Command 0 to access the environment. Then in Layer in the top left, select Click and Ports. Then go to the new drop-down and select Mapped Instrument. Put the mapped instrument between Input View and Sequencer Input by dragging the cables from one to another. Then, if you double-click Mapped Instrument, you can change what note plays when you press a key. Don't worry, changes you make to the notes will not affect your other projects, but it will mean that you'll need to create a template if you want the note mappings for future projects. You'll want your keyboard for the next step because it's difficult to see what note you're playing, as they have drum names, but if you press the relevant key, you can easily remap it. Change C4 so it plays F sharp 3 as the output note. Keep D4 playing D4. Change E4 so it plays G sharp 4. Change F4 so it plays A4. Change G4 so it plays C sharp 5. Change A4 so it plays E5. Change B4 so it plays G5. Change C5 so it plays A sharp 5. And change D5 so it plays B5. As you can see, the notes span more than one octave. If you want, you could change some of the notes to play on some of the black keys, so that you can also map the octaves of all these notes if you've got time on your hands. This might be useful if you want a low drone, as 174 Hz is the lowest frequency you would have otherwise. Now your frequencies are mapped to the keys as follows. C4 outputs 174 Hz, D4 outputs 285 Hz, E4 outputs 396 Hz, F4 outputs 417 Hz, G4 outputs 528 Hz, A4 outputs 639 Hz, B4 outputs 741 Hz, C5 outputs 852 Hz, and D5 outputs 963 Hz. You no longer have to worry about playing C or F as we have changed the notes. Here's what it sounds like. A few of the notes have similar cent value adjustments, so maybe you could get away with playing these notes together, but overall the scale isn't very harmonious, but you could stick to playing one note at a time if you want. This is just a workaround for how you achieve it in Logic, not a comment on how useful it is. Here's a bonus tip. You can avoid Logic's environment altogether and just play a major or minor scale based on one of the solfeggio frequencies, so it is harmonious and you can play harmonies, but it depends on how well you know your scales unless you use Logic's MIDI effects transposer to make them easier to play. First, you go into Logic's tuner and pick the frequency you want and change the cents value of each note to match the one you have picked, i.e. if you choose 528 Hz, C sharp 5, plus 15.661 cents, you would make sure that every note under user in the software instrument tuning table is set to plus 15.661 cents. You would still change the software instrument pitch from 440 Hz to 415 Hz, by the way. This way, if you play a C-sharp major or minor scale, you would still have the 528 Hz note on C-sharp 5, but the other notes would be equal tempered to that C-sharp 5. Side note here is a workaround if your C doesn't let you type in any cent adjustment in it if you're on a newer version of Logic. To get this note working again, type something into C sharp and then change the root key from C to B. It now lets you overtype the cents adjustment. Now here's how to make the scale easier to play compared to C sharp major. You put the transposer on the MIDI effects slot and then drag the slider to +1 semitone. For 285 Hz D4, you would have the software instrument pitch at 415.3 Hz and change every note cent value to +48.170. And then to make it easier to play a D major scale, you would transpose it by +2 semitones so that you can play it in C major, which is all the white keys. And that's how you can use solfeggio frequencies in Logic Pro. Whether you believe in their deeper effects or just want to explore new sound possibilities, this gives you a fun way to try them out. Let me know in the comments if you want a ready-made template or if you want me to mix up a solfeggio tuning with just intonation instead of an equal tempered scale. If you like this video, please consider giving it a like, and if you like music production, songwriting and singing videos, please consider subscribing.